in Cincy for the first time. Um, Hopefully the weather will get better as time goes by, but I think the facility is amazing. I also saw the amusement park pulling up here to the site, so
Alex
hopefully
Eala is walking back onto a WTA 1000 court with a score to settle, and this time, the stage is bigger than ever. On Saturday, August 15th, the Filipina star opens her Cincinnati Open campaign against Romania's Elena-Gabriela Ruse. And if that name rings a bell, it should. Ruse is the only player to ever beat Eala in a head-to-head meeting, and now Eala gets a shot at flipping the script live in Ohio. Let's set the scene first. Eala arrives in Cincinnati as the number 17 seed, the highest seeding of her career at this level, and that ranking earned her a bye straight into the round of 64. It's also her tournament debut in Cincinnati. She was supposed to play last year, but a shoulder injury forced her to withdraw. So, this is new ground for her, and she's stepping onto it with more momentum than at almost any point in her career. Now here's the part that makes this match so compelling. Eala and Ruse have only ever played once, and it happened in qualifying at the 2024 U.S. Open. Eala actually took the first set 6-3, looking sharp and in control. But Ruse dug in, leveled things by taking the second set 6-1, and then closed it out 6-4 in the decider. It was a gutsy, physical comeback from the Romanian, and it's the only data point either player has on the other. That's what makes Saturday so interesting. There's history, but it's thin. One match, one loss, and a lot of unfinished business for Eala. So, who exactly is standing in her way? Ruse is 28 years old, currently ranked around number 77 in the world, with a career high of number 51 back in 2022. She's been a fixture on tour for years, someone who can string together tricky, physical matches, and has shown she's capable of grinding out three-setters against players ranked well above her. She's had a mixed 2026 so far, but her strongest recent form came at the Bad Homburg Open, where she pushed all the way to the semifinals before falling to Karolina Machova. That's the kind of run that should put any opponent on alert. Beyond Bad Homburg, Ruse's season has had its share of ups and downs. She made the round of 32 at the Yash Open in her home country of Romania, but ran into an early exit at Wimbledon, losing in the first round to Katie McNally. She also fell in the opening round at the Canadian Open just last week, beaten by Anastasia Potapova. So she comes into Cincinnati without a ton of momentum on paper, but she's a two-hander off both wings with a game built on depth and patience, and she has already proven, on the one occasion it mattered most, that she knows how to find a way past Eala when things get tight. But let's talk about Eala's side of the draw, because her recent stretch of tennis has been the story of the summer. She won her first ever WTA Tour title just weeks ago at the Mubadala City DC Open in Washington, beating Jessica Pegula in the final to break through at that level for the first time. That win kicked off a 7-match winning streak that carried her into the Canadian Open in Toronto, where she knocked out Alicia Parks and then battled through pain in her foot to beat Katie McNally in 3 sets. Her run finally ended in the round of 16, where Belinda Bencic brought the streak to a halt with a 6-4, 6-0 result. It wasn't the ending Eala wanted, but reaching the 4th round of a WTA 1000 event on the back of her maiden title is exactly the kind of form you want walking into Cincinnati. And that seeding number 17 isn't just a number. It reflects a genuine climb up the rankings, with Eala sitting at a career-best world number 20 heading into this event. She's now the first Filipina in tennis history to crack the WTA Tour's top 20, and with almost no ranking points to defend in Cincinnati, this tournament is a real opportunity for her to push even higher before the U.S. Open begins in New York later this month. And the draw ahead of her only raises the stakes. Win through against Ruse, and Eala could run into world number 10 Amanda Anisimova for the very first time in next round. Get past that test, and a possible 4th-round meeting with Linda Noskova looms, a player who has already beaten Eala twice this season. It's a brutal, top-heavy section of the draw, which is exactly why taking care of business against Ruse first is so important. So, What actually happens when these two get on court together? Eala plays an aggressive baseline first game. She wants to take time away from her opponent, hit through the court, and dictate rallies with her forehand. Ruse, on the other hand, is a fighter who's proven she can absorb pressure and turn a match around, exactly like she did in that US Open qualifier. If Eala comes out fast and controls the center of the court early, she can make this a short evening. But if Ruse settles in and starts finding her rhythm from the baseline, this has the makings of a long, physical battle, the kind of match where composure in the final few games decides everything. Here's what to actually watch for on Saturday. First, keep an eye on how Eala starts. Against a player who's already found a way to beat her, jumping out to an early lead could completely change the tone of the match and take away any confidence Ruse might be carrying from their last meeting. Second, pay attention to who controls the middle of the court during long rallies. Both players hit with real pace, and whoever dictates that center court battle usually ends up dictating the whole match. And third, watch how each player handles pressure if this goes the distance. Ruse has already shown she can claw back from a set down against Eala. The question is whether Eala has closed that gap since 2024 and whether her improved consistency this season shows up when it matters most. There's also a fourth thing worth tracking, and that's fatigue. Eala has played an enormous amount of high-level tennis over the past 2 weeks, from her title run in Washington through a physically demanding week in Toronto. That workload can either sharpen a player's instincts or leave them running on empty by the third set, and Cincinnati will be an early test of which one applies here. At the end of the day, this is more than just a round of 64 match on a Saturday afternoon in Ohio. It's Alex Eala getting a rematch against the only player who's ever beaten her on a much bigger stage with a much higher seeding and a whole lot more confidence behind her. Ruse still holds the head-to-head, but Eala now has everything in front of her to change that story completely. So can Eala finally get her revenge and push through to the round of 32? We're about to find out. If you're following her Cincinnati run, stick around, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single update as her Cincinnati Open tournament continues to unfold in the days ahead.